SC got lemons, he got the victory, and now we're going into another Terran versus Protoss with not Deer, but in fact Trap.
Trap is going to be the next player, so he really wants to make it work. We are going into another Terran versus Protoss, and SC after the last game is probably not too unhappy about that.
Yeah, he can definitely be happy with how he performed in the previous game. This time he's going to be on a bigger map, on the other hand, and no lemons.
Yeah, no lemons. And that's a little bit unfortunate. I mean, we saw in the last game for the first time in this season how good those lemons actually are, and I feel we should see them more often in the future.
Yeah. You know, if he feels a little bit uncomfortable, he can take a lemon into the booth with him. In fact, he could go buy some lemon water if we have it at the studio and take that with him as well.
He could pull a little bit of an MMA and then just bite into the lemon and refresh himself.
Yeah. Make sure he doesn't get any of the lemon juice in his eyes. That would be... that might affect his play.
Yeah, and his vision for a little bit. Well, we have Trap going up against SC, another Terran versus Protoss. SC here going for his second game against Protoss. Now let's see how he can do here. Currently, FXOpen is in the lead. Keep in mind that both of these teams have not won a single team match in this season just yet, so they really need a victory, both of them, and especially FXOpen. They were aiming for the title once again, and the season did not start out as well as they hoped for.
Definitely not. Whirlwind, I'm really curious to see what we're going to see from SC on this map, because late game, if he gets an advantage, is definitely strong for him. But if he doesn't get an advantage early on up against a player of this magnitude, Trap, might have some problems.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough match, and let's see if SC is able to take down Trap here, then suddenly Soul is down to the last player. So let's see if he's able to do that, or if Trap is going to bring it to a tight score at 2-2. You have the GSTL, call on board.
Full force when I step to the fore, bringing you that fuel source fresh from the core. Right mind, fitting strong, fuel like iodine. With blueprint, these fuse quotes that my mind designed.
Starting to the top right of Whirlwind, we have the Terran player for Team FXOpen, doing a pretty decent job against his first Protoss today. Up against the second. This is
FXOSC.
SC with a really good performance against Dia earlier on, but Dia also starting with a little bit of a controversial build here with the proxy build. The second Protoss player to the bottom right of Whirlwind is playing this a little bit more standard. This is, of course,
Soul Trap.
Picture of Trap's old War days. And,
gets the
Soul,
Korean castles excited.
Soul logo drawn out. Oh dear! You activated my Trap card! Oh no! well done. Two Soul players back to back. And certainly what's happened here. We see a gas again for SC. Seems to want to be very careful again. Getting a Reaper out always gives you so much information.
Reaper is just a great opening in general. You can jump into your opponent's main base, you get an idea about the gas timings, you get an idea about the tech. In the last game, of course, you already saw that something was a little bit off with the timings that were used here. So you got a pretty good idea. And at this point, everything's quite normal in the main base of Trap, but of course SC wants to make sure. And also Trap has his own scout on the map already, scouting counterclockwise, clockwise. And that's pretty unfortunate for him, since he will spot SC at the last position possible.
And by the way, 1-0 is 100%, not 0. Just wanted to clarify that.
If it's actually Wolf that explains to you how math works, you know that you made a serious mistake.
Somebody is really embarrassed right now watching this. Yeah, you need a 1 and another 0 for that one. But
I have to look that YouTube video up again when we did the calculation thing. That was so awesome.
I didn't even know that was on YouTube.
No, someone put that on YouTube. What was that about? What did he have? Like, what were we talking about harvesters?
I'm trying to forget.
It's somewhere on YouTube. I have to look that up, guys. It was beautiful. Like, we were casting a game and it was a major attack, and we had a I
remember now.
What happened there? Like, was it Marines or
no? Wasn't it something like now he has 20 more supply. Which
Oh, it was
equals
Banelings.
50.
It was Banelings. He had 40 Banelings, and he morphed another
20. Now
Another
he has
20.
50 or
It was
something like that.
He has 50 Banelings. It was awesome.
Now I remember. Yeah, that one was actually pretty clever.
I think that's somewhere on YouTube. I have to look it up later. That was pretty cool. It was back in the Muktung studio.
Yeah. Reaper here.
Oh wow, he
Does not
actually-
save the SV, and he will not get the second one to finish the bunker either. And here comes the Stalker. Well,
Yeah, and he has the Marine there already, but both Marines will go down. The bunker finally is done. That was a nice little attack there that we saw by Trap, though.
I feel like he could have microed that way better, though. Target one time on that SUV, kill it again, move up to the north of the micro against the Marines over there. Instead, now he's locked out with his Stalker a little bit here.
I feel he could have killed a little bit more, but he
Yeah.
took down 3 of the SCVs, and he delayed this for quite some time. But you're right, I think he could have done a little bit more damage with this.
Yeah, definitely some in the moment questionable micro there, but he still has his soft contain up here at the ramp. He's not going to let anything out to scout, and he even has the Mothership Core on the side ready to pick off any units, and a Stalker rallied at home to kill the Reaper, which did in fact just bite the dust. No, that was an SCV, never mind.
The expansion, of course, a little bit faster here for SC, as you can already see. At the same time, 4 workers killed by now, got another one, and is still moving around with the Mothership Core to maybe even snipe a 5th. But of course, it's always tempting to just overextend too much, and SC is ready with Marines, so you have to be really careful. But the 2 Stalkers at the front still present, so you can't really move out to get any scouting now. And so far, Trap has his position kind of solidified. Going into the robotics right now as his attack.
Really annoying with this Mothership Core, able to spout how many SCVs are there and also pick one off or two. If the Terran army moves out, he'll send the Mothership Core right in. He actually is going a little bit brave here coming in like this, but he actually might get away with it because he has Time Warp, but he's got to be paying attention.
Yeah, kills one of the SCVs and moves back, only loses a few shields and gets another couple of shots off. He keeps his opponent busy. We have Concussive Shell done, by the way, so if the Marauder gets a single shot off against the Stalkers on the low ground, then they are done for.
Speaking of which, that's exactly what we have happening right now. One Stalker dies, the second one did not get hit by concussive shells, exactly as you said.
Pretty nice move here by SC. He goes for the Concussive Shells first and starts attacking, slows the Stalker down, and the Marines just accomplish the rest. But of course, SCV is lost in the early game, so hanging him out at the end of the day again.
And he moved the Mothership Core away, actually, because he was scared of a frontal attack, which meant that he couldn't harass the SCVs while Terran Army moved out, so that really helped SC out quite a bit. Big powering up here going on. Back at home, on the other hand, an Immortal is on the way. And I think that's just going to be purely for defense. If he starts a second one, then that'll be a completely different story.
Yeah, Marine has been spotted. Oh, yeah, Stalker doesn't want to overextend there. Just trying to maybe take down the Marine, but yeah, doesn't know what exactly is waiting on top of that ramp, so he's just a little bit careful here. And straight into the robotics bay. Once that first Colossus is out, you're kind of safe against the Marine aggression. But a map like Whirlwind, the second base is usually quite safe even without it, even if you just rely on your own Mothership Core at the foot and overcharge, you're in a good position. Observer goes past the missile turret. It's detected for a second, but still safe.
Yeah, detected but undetected. Yeah. Sees the starport going up here, he knows the timing of that. And that may actually let him make a third base. He may say at this moment, you know what, I'm going to take my Nexus, I'm going to kill this Marine, drop down that third Nexus, because my Colossus will be out to defend it. He kills the SCV, but the Reaper is coming in for a scout, coming in for a look-see.
Already spotted by the Observer, but if he gets up the ramp, sees at least Immortal here. So first Colossus already on the way, and we have the Twilight Council also started, so he can access the +2 upgrades if he wants to. At the same time, SC with another additional bunker at the front seems to think that there might be a Reaper attack coming his way.
Yeah.
Immortal attack, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. If he had a Reaper attack coming his way, he'd be like, what? I thought they took that unit that's copying the inside of the game.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit.
Do you remember that? What was that unit called?
I don't know what it was called. I actually thought about the same thing when you were jumping on that train of thought, but like I don't know what it was called, but I remember it. They had a couple
Replicator, right?
I'm not sure, but they had a couple of really cool movies, like small, short ones, cutscenes where they just showed it beginning, I think it was
Siege Tanks, yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a cool concept, but, you know, didn't make it to release, unfortunately. Twilight Council done, Temple Archives nearly the same. He decides not to take a third. He's very cautious, very defensive here. And this Colossus is actually has not baited any Vikings just yet, so the switch to Templar is not going to catch him off guard too much. SC going to pick off a pylon here.
Yeah, but that's about it. Like, the Observer is just a little bit too slow. One Marine at the front, just making sure that he sees when exactly the units of the pros player are moving in. Just moves back, just poking a little bit, keeping him busy. But he's going straight in Storm. I mean, the rush into Storm is one of those strategies that we see so often these days, and it's just so successful. And you can really already see that this is exactly what he can make work here. Terran player is going into a massive amount of barracks to have his own production out, but so far no third base for either one of these players. And the longer the game goes, the better the situation for Trap. It's a massive army that he has here.
Yeah. Storm getting very close to being completed. And no third command center landed for SC. He does, on the other hand, actually have it ready to go. But he's really waiting quite some time. He's very scared about aggression. And this allows now Trap to take his third. He's got all the tech. He's getting the upgrades out faster. He already has 1-1. He's going into +2 armor. SC soon to have 1-1.
Yeah. SC now realizing that he doesn't need the second bunker here. He could also salvage the first one if he wanted to. Third base for him, of course, already on the way, just flying towards that third mineral line. And he's going also into a few Vikings, as already mentioned earlier. Like, he was kind of baited out here. We do not have a Ghost Academy for him. So he is really strung around by his opponent.
Yeah, he has no idea. I don't think he's seen a single Templar yet. And of course, that just leads him down the wrong path.
He has already 3 Vikings. He builds another 2. He will go up to 5 and maybe even more than that. And there is no Ghost Academy on the way. He has no idea what's going on here. And at this point, of course, with the third base, Trap is making the decision to get the range upgrade for his Colossi. That's going to be a switch later on down the road. But at this point, those High Templars should be able to do a massive amount of damage against SC.
The Templar that's in the Warp Prism could also do a ton of damage to the SCV line at the natural. See how he decides to engage this. He is spotted by an SCV.
Even a late armory here, so he can't start the second set of upgrades. The Wall Prism on the other hand is already on the way into the main base. Here comes the drop. Scan ahead at the bottom. Storms!
Very late reaction there on the Templar. Loses 2 of them.
Oh, he's going to the choke point! He has a death wish!
He wants it. He wants blood. And you know there's not a whole lot of Protoss units here.
There were no storms. The Templars got sniped. The Templars were a little bit overeager, trying to go too far away to the front. And the Templar in the main base doesn't storm either. There's nothing going on.
Now he storms. Killing a few, but Trap taking a lot of losses here. His Zealots are not useful going down the choke point. They're only useful at the top. Here comes that storm! That's what he needed. And actually now he can break down the ramp.
But that should have gone much better for Trap, actually.
He was so focused on his Warp Prism that he really messed that up. A few Zealots being warped in here.
I think he was always just focused at the wrong spot. Like, really unfortunate for him. He was looking into the main base of his opponent when at the bottom left we saw him just moving up. 18 Harvesters killed thanks to the storm. But I feel like Trap looked into the main base of SC when the army of SC was moving to the choke point, so the storm didn't really hit. Then he wanted to hit that storm. He clicked a little bit too far to the left. The Templars died. At the same time, the Templar in the main base of SC was kind of idle and didn't do anything. That was a little bit unfortunate for him how that went.
He did kill, though, 18 Harvesters in total.
Yeah.
And that puts him at 74 to 56, so that's a pretty good ratio. He doesn't want to make any more probes than that, though, or he's going to find himself with a tiny army. Doom Drop coming towards the main. It is spotted, and he reacts here a little bit, actually. I guess he doesn't quite realize what he's up against. He needs to. Storm here is decent. The Immortal in a bad place.
Storm is decent, but I think this army is just way too big. The Immortal is moving back and is taking out such a massive army. Here comes the Slim, another run of Warpins. He's going back to the wall, and he can always move back, deals a little bit of damage, and then moves off. Doesn't lose a single medivac in the process.
Yeah, no blink, and even if he had blink, he can't blink into the ocean. So.
Oh, look, free Warp.
Yeah, he'll take it. Well, gets away, actually.
Where are those afterburners when you need them?
He's scared, you know. I think he doesn't want to try to chase the Warp Prism and run into a bunch of Zealots. He just lets it go.
The +2/+2, by the way, is now on the production tab, but we have still a bit of a lead in the upgrades for Trap.
Ops camera 4 Vikings did follow the Warp Prism and kill it, so Warp Prism did die. There are a few warping points on the map that you can use for additional harassment. This game is still close yet, but +3 armor nearly done. That's going to put a big damper on SC's attempts for aggression later on in this game. 4th base on the way. for both players. The Nexus, of course, at the actual location, though.
To me,
for
it's
Trap.
still fascinating that Trap did not absolutely annihilate the entire army of the sea with the High Templars that he had. There were no ghosts, and the biggest thing was that SC had no clue. He had no idea that there were High Templars up to the first storm when he saw the first one. And when he went up the choke point, I really thought that we would see like 2 or 3 storms from the Trap immediately. But his High Templars never really came into play. They were too far to the front, got sniped. I think he just misclicked the storm a little bit. That's the only thing that I can come up with.
You know what's funny is I feel like we could have had a mirror situation where Gumiho's, you know, he's so much focused on the harass trap that is. Gumiho freaks out, goes back to his base after he stemmed up the ramp, so he's not paying attention there, but also Trap's not paying attention. They're both paying attention to that harass. And then you come back and it's like, oh, all the Templar are dead. There are a few storms and I'm okay.
Now it's a completely different situation with the first ghost in the game and even personal cloaking coming up. So
oh, look at this! He's in the tree, but it's too late. Oh, that was a cool idea.
That was a really interesting move. The problem was really the scan, but wow, that's a good storm. And of course the feedbacks were really great.
Yeah, that's a really nice technique he used, hiding in the line of sight blocker. And he's got 2 Templar in that Warp Prism, so he can try to drop those out for Storm flanks, I guess you could say.
Now we have one of those run-bys that so many Terran players fell victim to in the past. So many Zealots, and it forces the entire army of SC back. SC being on 3 bases as is, where we have Trap already on 4.
Yeah, just doing some damage. Controlling the map, forcing SC's army back in the main base. He goes into the sensor tower. Then right now SC is realizing he may have made a terrible mistake sending all of his units through the watchtower.
Oh,
he needs to drop them out. Oh my god.
Doesn't kill it, doesn't realize it. The sensor tower goes down. Here comes Trap on his way to the 3rd base. The 4th is moving away. We have a drop. We have actually 2 drops. We have a drop at the 4th base, and there it is. That's actually a great drop. The High Templar goes down before he does anything, and now all of those probes are fair game, whereas we have, of course, at the 3rd base of SC another attack. Yeah,
and those force fields really actually working against Trap, and you may actually catch this army off guard here on the side. Zealots already using their charge. They don't want to fight here.
And the Mothership Core is gone. He can stim in once again. Trap is on the run.
Trap finds himself, pun intended here, trapped. He cannot actually escape with this army. He tries to drop the Templar down, and here come the storms. But they only hit the front of the army. The bigger army is at the back still.
And he's taking out the Warp Prism too. He's chasing this army away. There's another pylon for potential Warpman. But what is he going to do here? He already lost the Mothership Core. He can't recall. And he's dropping also, of course, in army supply a little bit. But at this point, they're still on a fairly even level.
Another drop at the right side, actually. Trying to pick off a pylon, and this army is going to meet in the middle and clash once more. Better concave here for Trap. A lot of charge is wasted on one Marauder, but the army in the middle still comes through. He's got a storm at the back. Whoa. Beautiful execution here.
What a flank. So many Zealots that are streaming in here, and the storms go down everywhere. We have 5 observers as well, just watching what's happening. Their jaw dropping. They're all in all watching these storms hit the Terran army.
Yeah, that observer school over there, it looks like a school of fish, is just watching the carnage here, and this is what a lot of Terran players are talking about. They're struggling against the storms, and GG.
GG and game. Zealots streaming in from everywhere.
Beautiful
oh my
control
God.
there. I mean, that storm flank from the right was so well executed. The drop defense was decent as well.
Those Zealots looked like a horde of barbarians going up against the Romans, streaming in from every single angle with a blood cry on their mouth. This was amazing. And at the same time, hidden amongst them, a couple of High Templars dropping the storms every single time as he tries to just turn around and fight. At first, it really looked like Trap was on the run there, but in the end, it was Trap who suddenly trapped him.
Well, I wonder who FXOpen will send out now. Because SC was not the right choice, and I don't think there's any Terrans on that bench that they want to send out. They don't want to send out the best here.
Well, SC got his kill, so he got his win.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're now on a 2-2, and he put up a fight here. But yeah, who are you going to send out next? I mean,
I could see Lucky if he's in shape right now, but we don't know that.
I think we will see once again Lino the Hurricane. So the question rather being, who do you want to send out first?
I think you want to avoid the Protoss versus Protoss if you can help it. Send out Lenok here. Then maybe he has to ZVZ, but then you can send out Hurricane after that.
Yeah. No, I think the mirror matchup, trying to avoid that, is probably a good choice, even though Hurricane is really not bad in that, but still. I feel, from the player point of view, probably going to be Leenock and Hurricane again. I mean, I feel you have to play Hurricane. Leenock, you can always argue, okay, he didn't really perform as well as he should in the team league, but...
He's still a good player. I mean, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He's underperforming right now. Leenock is somebody that maybe he could be somebody you don't want to use, but the question becomes then who's the replacement, and nobody really is coming to mind.
Yeah.
Seed? I mean, Seed maybe?
We could see Seed, yeah. He just qualified for the Challenger League 2, and he was really confident in the last few games, even though he lost. He always said, okay, especially going up against a Terran player, which right now is not really the issue, but that's apparently the matchup where he feels the strongest. He was doing a decent job in the Protoss versus Protoss, but he lost it in the GSTL, so I don't know. Who do you send out now?
Seed's on the edge. And Lucky!
It's Lucky, you're right.
So
interesting. I did not see this one coming.
You know, I thought, you know, there's a slight chance.
They like to play him in the team league. They definitely
really
like to give him a shot in the team league. But I did not see Lucky coming. Yeah, I feel between Lucky and Leenock, Leenock is nearly always the better choice, unless you specifically train Lucky to be a sniper. Might be the case here.
Well, Hyundai is the map. And it kind of feels snipey for ZVP. I could see why they would send Lucky out for a snipe here. Do an aggressive Roach play here. Maybe try to do one of those speedling builds because it's a little bit tougher to wall here sometimes. Could see something like that.
I mean, it's not like Trap doesn't have a really good record against Zerg. He has a 76%, so that's definitely very decent. Lucky, on the other hand, Heart of the Swarm not really shining all that much. Also at the end of Wings of Liberty, a little bit shaky. It seems like nerfs always get in his way. He has only a 50% win ratio. I feel it has to be like a snipe. Or Choya just said, you know what, we went with Leenock the last few times. It didn't go as well as we really thought, so you're getting your shot right now in this match. We're already 0-2 in the team league in general. Prove yourself here. This is where it really counts.
This is where it really counts for FXOpen. They're already got to be frustrated. Yes, it is 2-2, but FXOpen not only wanted to win today, they wanted a deep win. They wanted to win where they win 4-0, 3-1, or 4-3. I mean, can't count. 4-1, 4-2, maybe. But if anything else goes wrong, they only get the +1. The win is nice, but the indicator here is pretty poor already.
It's going to be an interesting one. As I said, the pick surprises me, but might be the sniper here. Choya will have a reason to send Lucky out. There are several that came to mind. We talked about it a little bit already, and it's going to be an interesting match at that, especially since it's, of course, Lucky's map pick. And to be quite frank, Hyundai is usually a map that you pick if you want to snipe. It's not really the map that comes to mind that you would pick as a Zerg player like immediately.
Yeah, I completely agree.
The newer maps are usually the ones that we see very late in the team matches because players are not quite that comfortable on that. But if you prepare a snipe build against a certain race, then you want to do that on one of the newer maps where you expect your opponent to not have that much experience.
Especially a two-player map like Hyundai, where the rush distance is not very far. So I could definitely see a speedling build here trying to be tricky, or maybe even a Roach push.
Also, Lucky is quite innovative when it comes down to finding a few new build orders. At the beginning of Heart of the Swarm, he showed us builds where he had timings with Roach movement and burrow. So a lot of things that he could do here. But let's see what exactly he has in mind going up against Trap. Currently, the series is tied, and Soul is doing quite well with that choice here. Trap already performing against the Sea. Can he match out another victory against Lucky, though? Is Lucky the right choice? We're going to find out right now on Here on the Beach. Get the GSTL nullable.
Full force when I step to the fore, bringing you that fuel source fresh from the core.